Most people watch Alex Hormozi because they want to duplicate his success. So they copy the obvious stuff, work harder, post more, become more disciplined. But the visible habits are the least interesting part. I have a master's in applied neuroscience, and I'm building a practical system to train your brain to generate the kind of behaviors that lead to that kind of success. We'll start with 4 things: investment, identity, commitment, and consumption. And the first question is more uncomfortable than it sounds. So let me share my screen here with you. What do you invest most in? And I don't talk about stock options. I'm not talking about Apple versus Amazon, but I'm talking about your time, your attention. And here we need to be brutally honest with ourselves, you and me as well, is if we answer those questions together here. And so list 3 things of each. And number 1 is, what do you spend most of your money on? And that is, of course, after the must-haves are covered, like whatever, rent, car, and so on. What do you spend most of your money on? What do you spend the most time on? And of course, you have to sleep. But apart from that, do you spend most of your time playing 2 hours of Mario Kart a day, watching 3 hours of Netflix, and scrolling 1 hour on Instagram? Or are you doing something towards your fitness goals, towards your work goals, towards your business goals? Yes. And be specific here. Just 3 things. What do you spend the most time on? And brutally honest, not what you would like it to be. And that's very important. And then what do you read, watch, or listen most to? Do you read, watch, and listen, again, most to Netflix? Or is it business stuff? Or is it fitness stuff if you want to get fit? Or what do you spend most of your time listening, watching, and reading most? And then what do you think about most? What's going on most in your mind? What occupies the most mind space in you? And again, is it family? Is it your kids? Is it your work? Is it the book you're writing? Anything. Number 5, where are you the most organized? And again, be honest there. Is it your clothing? Because clothing is important. Is it your workout schedule? Is it your laptop where your business lives on? Where are you most organized? List 3 things. And then where are you most reliable, disciplined, and focused in your life? Again, 3 things. And you might want to stop the video to answer that, or maybe you're really quick, and while I talk along, you can do that. And what do you internally dialogue most about? And I have a slight difference between thinking and inner dialogue, because the inner dialogue is something that can hinder a lot of people, and it can be distinctly different from what we think about. So what do you dialogue about the most internally? What do you speak to yourself about most? And then the last one is, what do you talk about most with others? And that can be, is it gossip? Is it work? Is it, again, fitness goals, your kids, your dog, your car? And now look at that list that you have here and identify the answers that repeat most often. And now look at, what are you really investing in? What are you really voting for in your life? And now if this is absolutely on track with all of your goals, great, you can stop this video right now and you don't need to go on watching. But if there are some discrepancies, let's go on to identity. And now Alex Hormozi talks in this video about identity and how it is linked to what we do. And science is very solid on this. Our identity is very much linked to what we do and also what we expose ourselves to. So our identity is very much also linked what we're willing and what we're able to do in terms of our goals. Now, we all have some type of goal. We all want to go from maybe unhappy or slightly unhappy to happy in one or the other areas of our lives. And now the question is, what do you need to do to attain your goal? And if you're seriously interested in goal setting, there is this really solid and very thick book that is solid, scientifically grounded by 2 scientists I very much admire, is Locker and Latham. If you're really interested, it's not an easy read. It's not like reading through Atomic Habits or something, but it'll give you a very solid grounding in the topic. So list, what do you need to do to attain your goal? And start with 1 here. and just list 5 to 10 small or 5 to 10 things that you need to do to attain your goal. And then the next step that we have here is you decide to become the person who does these things. And this is very important because if you do those things, then you become the person who does those things and it becomes part of your identity. So for me, it is much more easy to identify as a researcher than an entrepreneur because I still spend so much time being involved in research projects. Now, the downside there is I'm not being paid for it, but I love doing that part of research, and that's just the way the academic system works. So if I want to do better in business, I need to do and spend and think and create more of an identity as an entrepreneur versus a researcher. So I can decide and you can decide, who do you want to be? And if you want to be somebody different, you need to do other different things. And once you do other different things, and that are those here, spending time, money, resources, thoughts on stuff, that will change your identity. And that will, if your identity becomes that of an entrepreneur, it'll be so much easier for you to do the things an entrepreneur does. And you and I, we can decide who we want to be, who you want to be. And this is where I like where Alex Hormozi talks about commitment. And he says in the video that commitment is the elimination of alternatives. And now this is a very simplified definition, and scientifically it's only part of the definition of commitment, but I think it works really well in his context. So the next exercise that we do, and again, I hope I told you at the beginning, this is a workshop. This is not just listening to a video, but we work through it together. So pause the video and make a list of things what can you eliminate that is not the main thing. And he says very eloquently, you don't have what you want because you're unwilling to say no to things you want less. And that can be that we're brought up to be polite. We're brought up that this is our duty. But if we really want to have our goal here, then we need to say no to other things. And it might be saying no to 2 hours of Netflix or playing Mario Kart or whatever else we do. In my case, get less involved in research projects, yes? So what can you eliminate that is not the main thing? Take a few minutes and write about it. Make a list of things you can eliminate that are not the main thing. Okay, so I hope you did that, and we'll go to the next exercise. And this one has helped me tremendously, and I do it very often because we forget very easily what is in our control and what not. So, for example, I don't have control over how well my videos do on YouTube, but I do have control about the content I create. What type of content? How valuable is it? How much time do I spend creating it? How often do I post videos on YouTube? So that is in my control. And so when I notice myself procrastinating, this here is the exercise that I do. So I start with what is not in my control, and that can be very specific, but it can also be quite high level with whatever politics or the government or taxes or anything. But it is most helpful if I focus on the things that really count for me. And that can be at the moment building a YouTube channel. So not in my control, again, is how many people watch it, how many like it, how many share it, how well does it do, and so on. But in my control, how much do I post? How often do I post? How do I improve my videos? Am I spending time learning about YouTube or not? So those are things that are in my control. And again, this is a really great tool if you procrastinate doing the work. Then this is really awesome to do that before you do the work because it gives you a sense of control. And if you have that, you're more likely to engage in the work that you really want to do. Okay, let's go on here. So here's another Alex Hormozi quote where he says, it's never been easier to be successful. It's also never been easier to be distracted. And I think we all know that. There are very few people who don't get sucked into distraction. And it might not be social media for you. It can be any other form of entertainment, even people, parties, or other things. So here we look at how do we consume time. And again, here we also have this link again with identity and media consumption. So this is the paper I thought I had pasted next to the other one. I didn't, it's here. So time consumption. And so this is an analysis I find super helpful. Is how do you spend your time? And so list what have you been consuming in the past weeks? Books, news, articles, podcasts, movies, TV shows, YouTube, social media. And that is the first step. Make a list of the things you've been watching. If you've been watching crime shows, crime podcasts, or scientific stuff, or I don't know, reading research papers or reading novels. And then exactly what? Is it romance novels? Is it thrillers? What are you consuming? And then go one level deeper after you've done that. Go one level deeper and what does that teach you? So for me, I've been dealing with a severe addiction to reading news. And what does it teach me on a deeper level? So the news tell me that I'm not in control. I'm helpless. I'm just this tiny little nobody. There's nothing I can do to influence what's happening in the world. And it also teaches me that politicians are liars and that I can't trust anyone because the world is really going to dogs because news only tell me about robberies here. People were attacked. There was this accident there and this earthquake there and this flood here. So it really tells me the world is evil and a bad place. This is what news media teaches me. So, or if you watch crime shows, it also tells you the nice neighbor next door can be the evil killer mastermind. What does it teach you? And it's okay to have a kind of negativity bias here because we want to learn from it. We don't try to just gloss over things. And then the next question is, so what do you need to change so your exposure, so the things you consume, matches your desired outcome? So if you spend watching NCIS in the evening, maybe you can, so unless you want to do something with films or create TV shows or become a criminal, what other things can you watch that will bring you or help you get to so what do you need to change so your exposure, the things you watch, read and do and consume, that they match your desired outcome? So if you want to become fit, it would be more helpful for your identity or to change your identity if you start consuming fitness content. Or if you want to build a business, also, consuming solid business building content and stay clear from the get rich overnight kind of junk that you find everywhere. But look for solid advice and solid things you can consume about it. Books you can read. Doesn't matter if it's your mindset or fitness or anything. What do you need to change so your exposure matches your desired outcome? Take a minute and look at that. And why am I emphasizing this? Is because if we look at social media is really a bit like an echo chamber. And that means and this is the pyramid model of polarization. And now, of course, polarization is very extreme, but if you take two people, and I'm not talking about Republican and Democrat here, but it can be two people that have the same goal. And one of them goes down the rabbit hole, watching news, feeling the world is bad and the economy is down and there's nothing he or she can do. So they cannot attain their goal because, well, the government anyway takes all the money because taxes are high. So this is one rabbit hole one can go into. And the other direction is like, oh, maybe I can, find a business that I really enjoy and I can start making some money on the side and I can reinvest it into something different. And maybe I can create my own social media account and teach people something. Maybe there is something I can give and I can create a business around it and I can learn how to build a business. And the more money I earn, the more taxes I'll pay, but that's okay because I also make money. So there are two different mindsets, two different ways. And normally that pyramid goes more towards whatever fundamentalism in one way or the other. But we can use it as an image of the beliefs that we create and the path we go. Do I believe I can solve my problems? I can become better than anyone else. I can be the hardest worker in the room, and then I'll do fine. Versus there's nothing I can do anyway. So again, social media is very much of an echo chamber. But you have power over what the algorithm feeds you to some extent. And here's again, there's a lot of research on social media being like an echo chamber, but there's an experiment I did quite a while back. And I really loved the experiment is where on my Instagram, something I'd never watched before. So I decided there's a lot of stuff here I don't want. So how to become more skinny, more fit, or how do I declutter my mind and all of those things. And they don't really make me feel good. So since then, I really changed my social media feed and I went on a dachshund puppy diet. And even if you just do it if you start now for 15 minutes and all you consume on your social media is dachshund puppies, that means the only thing you like, the only reels you watch, the only carousels you swipe is dachshund puppies and everything else you scroll past. Within 15 minutes, all you will see is dachshund puppies. And this is how you have power over your social media. So you can decide like, hey, I don't want to have the negative news intake, but I do want to have some kind of thing on my phone that I can distract myself with, but that does not affect my emotions and my mindset. It can be something simple like dachshund puppies. I have that on my Instagram. It took me a while longer on TikTok, but I have trained my TikTok algorithm. It basically only shows me Alex Hormozi. And if it doesn't, I swipe past it. It takes a bit of a discipline, but that is easier than not using social media at all, especially since I've never been much on social media and I need to learn how social media works because, again, I've just been a very dusty old academic and the stuff I've consumed is not very interesting for most people. So anyway, the dachshund puppy diet. So only engage with content that has dachshund puppies in it or anything else that is really harmless for you. And just give it a try how the algorithm changes. Okay, so I still have this here, but we'll do that in the next video because it's already quite a long video I've recorded. So yeah, work through this and tell me how it helps you. I have created a decision environment assessment, which is a questionnaire you can use to see how your environment affects you and your thinking and your decisions. I have a link below. It is completely free. You can get it on my website. And I will continue to work through the way Alex Hormozi teaches us to think and to build a business and give you more science behind it and more depth and a step-by-step protocol that you can become more disciplined, more focused, and with that, more successful. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.